little free weights handy, have those. Kitty just opened the door for me all the way. Thank you. Kitty. Kitty pots. Okay. I think I'll do threes. I'm doing a lot of weights. I'm gonna go lighter today. The threes. Let's start. Come down onto your back. And let's take a couple of minutes. Just take 10 breaths. Your feet can stand on the floor. You can have your legs extended, up to you. No hurry, no worry. Just let each breath come in its own time. Feel what there is to feel. You might feel evidence of pulse in the back of your rib cage, around the back, where your back is resting on the floor. You might feel pulse elsewhere. You might just be feeling the movement of your body as you breathe. Okay, and then if your feet are not already standing up on the floor, bring your feet up to stand on the floor. And then push down through your right foot. As if you were just pressing down through the sole of your foot and trying to move or point your knee more toward that foot. And then return and then press more to your left foot. Pointing the knee downward toward the foot of your mat and then return. And just go back and forth like that a few times. And feel the turn of your pelvis. The weight of your pelvis shifts one direction and then the other. We're mimicking the movement of walking. What happens when you walk? The movement of your hips from side to side. You feel also a little turn in your spine. Some rotation in your spine, some weight into one shoulder, and then the other shoulder. We're mimicking what happens when your arms kind of swing from side to side. And then bring your hands together behind your head. Interlace your fingers there. And really give a good strong press of your arms into the floor. Here. Tilt your chin a little, look back or look up. Feel a little tilt to take this movement of the spine all the way down into the lumbar and the pelvis. And then we'll bring the elbows in and lift the head, upper back, navel to spine, long lumbar, a flatter lumbar against the mat. And then inhale, spine to the floor, head, arms, hands to the floor. Press down into the floor with your arms. And then exhale, elbows in, lift your head, upper back. Pull back down, head to the floor, hands against the back of the head. Press the arms. Let's do 2 more. Good, and then you can let the head go, let the arms go. Take a breath here, and then find your weights. And let's begin with the elbows wide and the weights kind of lined up with your collarbones. And then just press straight up to the ceiling. 12. 'Even if you don't have weights, just mimicking the movement and finding kind of mindful resistance as you push upward against gravity. You won't get quite as much work as if you were using weights, but you will get some work. And then we'll come here with the elbows, right? Forearms parallel, upper arms parallel, elbows at 90 degrees. And then you'll lift straight up, flexing the backs of the upper arms. Twelve like that, and then bring the arms down alongside you, and you'll take the big, long lift up overhead. Extended elbows all the way over your head to the floor, or you could just kind of hover and drop them almost all the way to the floor, and then over the head. You tend to drop and thud a lot, especially if you're using heavier weights. Six more, we'll go to 12. Just move slowly with control. If it's hard to move with much precision or control, either bend your elbows a little bit or drop down to lighter weights. Oh, okay. Set your weights up to the side, and then bring your arms all the way overhead and your legs long. Once again, hook your thumbs together. Pull yourself a little longer. Okay, and then let's come over onto your side and up from your side onto all fours. Come through a few rounds of cow pose and cat pose as we do, just to continue mobilizing the spine from tailbone to crown. Of course, you can take cow pose up and back into child's pose, or add any side bending that feels Go right for the ribs, shoulders, lumbar spine, hips. Once more. Then from all fours, let's turn under the toes, take the hips back behind the knees a bit. Lift the knees, push the palms, push the hands, come into a downward facing dog. Feel both a sensation of stretch, but also of strong support in your arms, your upper back, shoulders. Open the chest, push chest toward tops of your thighs. If you feel like it, move one heel toward the floor, bend the opposite knee. If you want even more kind of twist sensation than that, of course, you can move a little more up through the rib cage. Take 4 more breaths. Bring your feet forward. Walk up about halfway, and then drop your hands. Just drop the weight of your arms, drop the weight of your head. Take another breath here in Uttanasana. Come up to stand. And then grab your weights again. Grab your weights again. We'll go back into the triceps and then we'll do just a few kind of chair poses with just holding on to the weights, like we're having a little bit of ballast. So we'll go forward into that kind of half chair. And then back with your arms. You can try to get your upper arms like parallel with the floor, wherever you need to be. When you feel tricep flex, as you extend your elbows straight back. Well, so 2 or 3 more. And we're going to stand, maybe stand with your feet about hips distance apart. And then you're just going to take that seat and push back up. So not quite a full squat, but a pretty low chair seat. Holding on to your weights, pulling your weights back up. So you're just adding a little bit of extra. It's like you were holding a 5-pound bag of flour or something in your hands. Picking that weight up, standing back up. 3 more. Good. And then with your weights, just give it like 12 bicep curls. Set the weight to downward facing dog, another 10 breaths in downward facing dog. We'll do a few long hold downward facing dog. So if 10 breaths is longer than your shoulders and arms feel like they can sustain, just come down when you need to. Go for 10. Shoot for 10. Endurance. Move if you feel like taking this with some movement. Couple more breaths, 2 more breaths here. And then again, walk up. Uttanasana, let the arms go, let the shoulders go. Take a breath in. Roll slowly back up to stand. Let's take the hands behind you, interlace the fingers, pull the arms back, extend the shoulders, stretch. Yeah, good. And then just here, whatever you need to do, take a breath or two. Feeling a good amount of work and heat in the tops of the shoulders and the deltoids. We're just going to continue on with that and take your feet wide into like a warrior 2 stance. Okay, so 1 foot out, that knee bent, 1 leg extended back behind you. We're going to start, we're just going to do like the dancing warrior movement, back side bend, and then like extended side angle, 3-pound weights, right? Do what you can. If you're using heavier weights, just come in a little closer to you, but try to move that top weight over your head. Then you come back like warrior 2, then you extend side angle, that arm goes up over your head, you bring it back and go slowly enough again to have some precision and some control with your weights. The closer you are with your weights to you, the more manageable the work is if the weights are really heavy. If you're using 2s or 3s, try to be a little more extended in your elbows. Come to arms wide warrior 2. 3 breaths. Let the weights come down, let your hands come down, and then swivel around to switch your legs out. And we'll just do the exact same thing, right? This is just kind of challenging your deltoids, the tops of the shoulders here quite a lot. So do what you can do, bend your elbows as much as you need to. Start back out wide, take a breath. Exhale, drop back. Three more. Watch your balance. Watch that your weights don't throw you off balance. Or got a little wobbly there. Okay. Last one. Come back, wide arms, 3 breaths. Slowly lower the weights, lower your arms. Come into a comfortably wide stance with your feet. Fold forward, set the weights down, and then bring your hands again back onto your back. Interlace your fingers, lift away from your back, and then up, maybe up and then back toward your head. One more breath. Let the hands go. Maybe the hands help you push yourself back up to stand. And then downward facing dog. 10 breaths in downward facing dog. You can always make fists here. You can always cushion up underneath the wrist if you need to. Longer holds if you know your wrists are a little vulnerable. Try to press more weight out into fingers and knuckles. Stand more in your knuckles. Couple more breaths. Good, and then knees to the floor. Child's pose, arms down alongside you. So the shoulders can fall. Let the arms fall, let the shoulders fall. One more breath in child's pose. And then just sit yourself up on onto your heels if that's comfortable, or come and sit with your legs crossed in front of you if that's a better option. And then just bring your arms forward into like the eagle pose, cross of your arms. And then with the arm that's crossed underneath, the arm that's on the bottom, right, pull the top arm a little more across the collarbones until you feel just a little more stretch there across the top of the shoulder into the upper arm. Let the arms go, roll the shoulders a few times. We'll go the other way. Underneath arm takes the top arm, pulls it more across the chest. Yeah, good. Let that go. Just kind of roll through the arms and the shoulders, another couple of breaths. We're gonna do one more thing in downward facing dog. You have cushion still underneath your wrist, go ahead and maybe just keep that, hold on to that. Can you come back in? And then from here, just bend your elbows out to the sides, shoot the crown of your head toward your hands, and then extend your elbows again. So they're a weird little push-up, like a little downward facing dog, a little bit of a push-up. Take the elbows wide, bend the elbows, push into the palms, straighten the elbows again. Let's do 8 more. So we'll just take our 10 breaths here with 10 bends and extensions of the elbows. Doesn't have to be much bend at all for you to feel some work. You are pushing the weight of your, kind of a lot of your body weight up away from the floor, as you would in a traditional push-up. Feel what there is to feel. Couple more. And then come down. Let's return to your back. Extend both legs, reach both arms long over your head. Stretch again. With your thumbs hooked together, securely, try to move your arms outward. Pull against that hook of your thumbs. Arms extended, pull the arms outward, and then release. And then if your weights are still handy, let's just go back one more set of those weight movements on your back. You're starting with isometric collarbones, just pushing straight up to the ceiling. Notice how much lighter they feel when you're lying down on your back. When they're closer to you. And 12 all the way arching up and over your head to the floor. Experiment with turning your arms, different degrees of rotation at the shoulder. The backs of the hands are moving toward the floor. Maybe the thumbs are moving toward the floor overhead. Or maybe the palms are more facing the floor as you go long overhead. 4 more. But once you're down, you're down. Set your weights off to the side. Let's lift the hips from here and then take your right arm, slide the forearm underneath the back of the waist, set the waist and the hips back down on the floor. Take 5 breaths. Good, and then switch the arm, switch out arms. Release your arm and then take that opposite arm overhead, reach it up overhead and then bend at the elbow, lift your head. Bring hand to elbow, stabilize that arm, push into your feet. Stretch the triceps. Switch when you're ready. Take another 5 or 6 breaths. We're deconstructing cow face pose, normally a seated posture. One arm reaches around the low back, the other arm reaches up close to the head. Try to inch the hands toward one another on the back. So we're still working this internal and external shoulder rotation, but getting a good stretch into the triceps here after a lot of work with weights. We'll release that arm when you're ready to let go. And then let's come to bridge pose. If you can, bring your arms together underneath you, where you interlace your fingers and clasp your palms together underneath you. We'll just continue to kind of work a little stretch, shoulder extension to stretch the shoulders. So you'll kind of tuck the shoulder blades, push the feet, bring the hips up. Find the lift. You want to hold for 5 breaths. Your arms underneath you. Clasp palms, stand in your shoulders, 4-footed pose. Bring your chest toward your chin. So you're trying to, again, like we did in the fold, moving your arms away from your back. Two more breaths. Let the arms go, let the arms go overhead, bring your spine to the floor. Hips to the floor, take a breath in. Exhale, bridge pose. Inhale, arms down, spine down, hips down. Exhale again, bridge pose, both arms overhead. Nice and light, nice and easy, leave the arms there. Inhale, spine to the floor. Exhale again, bridge pose. Both arms come back down, inhale. Let's do one arm only, right arm bridge pose. Just each arm one time. Leave the arm there, spine to the floor, hips to the floor. Everything comes back down. And then left arm, one time left arm. Good, and then knees to chest. Try crossing left knee over right knee, and then dropping both knees to the right. Arms wide. If this really pulls the left shoulder up off the floor too much for you to be comfortable in the pose, uncross the legs and just let the legs stack. Good. So a few more breaths here. Just let it continue to feel a little heavier, a little looser, a little more open. And then from here, if your legs are crossed, slide the right knee out from under the left knee and then return to your back. Then slip the feet, take the right knee over left knee, take the knees to the left. Just let everything begin to settle. The exhale, weight of the head, the weight of the arms. Letting that full, complete exhalation continue to loosen, even while you're more or less in a posture. Take one more breath on this side. And unravel the legs, return to your back. Any last movement, posture, stretch? Feel like you might want just for your lower back or your hips, for your legs, and then just take a few minutes to lie still, restful, still, legs extended, arms extended, open away from your sides. Just get comfortable across the backs of your hips, down the length of your legs, feel the weight of your heels. Feel what there is to feel here at the end of your work. Might feel a little buzzy, a little heightened sense of just heat or tingling nervous system activity in the muscles. You watch each breath in its entirety without distraction, but also without any particular effort. Take another 2 or 3 longer, bigger, deeper breaths. Slowly, then move yourself to a side, from your back onto a side. And from your side, pressing up through the palms. Just bringing yourself up to just that last seat. Find your seat here once again to close your time here with your palms together. honor your time here, honor all the benefits and gifts of your practice, the long lineage of the practice that lives through us and our practice. As always, thank you for your time. Namaste. Until next week.